Here's another extra question in addition to the study guide that might help you on the test. It says to write the equation of a circle with ends of the diameter given as points 2, -3, and 6, -9. So we know the equation of a circle is in standard form as x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where xy represents all the points on the circle, where HK represents the center of the circle, and R is the radius. So to write the equation of a circle, you have to know the center and the radius, because you're going to keep the x and y in the equation to represent all the points on the circle. So in this particular problem, we're not given either one of these things. We're given the endpoints of the diameter. So the first thing we need to do is to find the center of the circle. Since these are the endpoints of the diameter, we know the center is going to be the midpoint of that segment. So you have to remember to find the midpoint, you're going to average the two x coordinates by adding them together and dividing by 2. Add the two y coordinates by adding them together, average them by adding them together and dividing by 2. So your x coordinates are 2 and 6. So when you add 2 plus 6 and divide by 2, you have 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So 4 is the x coordinate of my center. My y's are -3 and -9, and we're going to add them and divide by 2. So we have -12 divided by 2, which is -6. So this is my center of my circle. This is my h and my k values that are going to go in for h and k in the equation of a circle. But now I need to know my radius. There's a couple of different ways that you can find your radius. One is to find the distance between the ends of the diameter and then divide that by 2, because the radius is half the diameter. You could also find the distance between your center point and either one of those points, since all the radii of the same circle are going to be congruent to each other. So distance between this point and this point, or this point and that point, would give you your radius. A third way is to use the equation of a circle. And to solve for the r squared, you would need to put numbers in for x, h, y, and k. Well, you have your h and k, and since x and y represent all the points on the circle, you could put either one of these points in for the x and y in the equation. So if we choose to use this point, the 2 would go in for the x, and the -3 would go in for the y. The h would be 4, the k would be -6, and that would allow us to solve for r squared. So we would have our x is 2 minus our h, which is 4, and square it, plus our y, which is -3, minus our k, which is -6. And when you subtract a negative, that becomes plus, or addition, and don't forget to square that. So that's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Now, when we simplify this, we get -2 squared plus 3 squared, which is 4 plus 9, or 13. Now, this is not our radius, this is our radius squared. But since we're just asked to write the equation of the circle, we're going to be using the r squared value anyway in our equation, so we can just stop there and we're ready to write the equation of the circle. Remember, the equation of a circle won't just have numbers in for each one of these variables. You have to have an x and a y in your equation representing all the points on a circle, not just one particular point. So when you write the equation of a circle, it's going to be x minus your h value, which is 4, squared, plus y minus your k of -6 becomes y plus 6 squared equals r squared. You already found r squared to be 13. So this is your equation of your circle. Remember, your signs will look the opposite of what the point has as its x and y coordinate. So since this shows as a -4, your x of your center was really a +4. Also, you have to have the x and y in the equation. If you had solved for the radius using the distance formula, you would have gotten the square root of 13. So when you square it, we know that the squaring and the square root cancel each other. So that gives you your r squared value of 13 as well.